Hi everybody, Uncle Max here from the Life of the Max Show. I'm going to show you what a serious minded emergency preparedness geek buys for a house. And in this case has to sell for a house. It's the ultimate little mini suburban / rural interface homestead. It's perfect. For somebody who maybe is out on one of the coasts and realizes they need to get out of Dodge because it's crazy, you can maybe come to this smaller version of Dodge. Still have all the best. Your 15 minutes from Silicon Slopes, 20 minutes from the mouth of two canyons that have world-class ski resorts. Tons of amazingly cool stuff. So I'm going to take you on a tour of my little place, of my big place. And I'm going to try not to cry as I tell you about all the things that I was hoping to do with it. My problem is I got a lot of challenges besides being 26 years in the military as a combat arms officer and a chemical officer, an NEMT, a hazmat technician, civil defense volunteer, community emergency response team leader, emergency ham radio communicator, master gardener, lifelong scouter, avid off-roader, mechanic. Besides all those things, I have my set of challenges. One of them's riddled with ADD. Got a lot of health problems hitting my way, and I need to take care of those. Just can't really afford to live here anymore. Gonna need to downsize. This was, and my goal was to have this be the ultimate family retreat, and it's definitely family oriented. Tons of space for everything. Now don't know if you can see this, but down here, you just saw that car drive by. You cannot even see our house from the street. You can see the end of the driveway, and that's the beauty of it. Nobody even knows it's down here. All they can see is one trailer, and that's pretty common. And they usually don't come down. So anyhow, what I was saying is you can, there's a huge pad here. I just found out from my brother-in-law who's into the realty area, and he says he found out from the city that you can actually build a secondary dwelling on the property. Then you could subdivide this, and that huge shop, the ultimate man cave. And then you could divide this so that the house with a pool, has an indoor pool. Or as I look at it, 12,000 gallons of emergency water supply that nobody knows is there because it's indoors. Yeah, an indoor swimming pool. So anyhow, you could divide this under certain conditions. If they're met, you could subdivide it into 3 lots. So anyhow, that's the possibility. But I just wanted to start here. You will own up to the center of this canal. And that's what excited me, is the canal is below me, not above me. Never buy a house right below a canal or a dam or something like that if it should fail. There's a canal down there. Canal is pretty wide, and it's about 4 feet deep, I'm thinking. But the nice thing is this whole canal with this whole slope, the canal has an easement to go down that side. This side, they have an easement to get to, but why do they need to come on our side? So this is our side, and we own to the center of the canal. So I was going to terrace this whole thing. And there's actually a technique for having a stealth garden. So I was actually going to fence down here right to the water's edge and put a sign in here saying no trespassing, private property. Here's the beauty. I wanted to terrace this thing into a beautiful garden area all the way down. And you have a long stretch of this. And the other fun part about this is you got these trees with a nice shade, and underneath that I was going to put a dock that will tuck up next to the water, and you can put kayaks and canoes in there, and you can kayak it and float this thing if you want. The funner part about this, so you could, like I said, underneath those trees, you could have a lot of fun under those trees, including this one up here. But this whole long slope right along here, can you imagine this terraced with steps going down? But then what I wanted to do, one of my many dreams, you'll find out I had a million dreams and I could just never seem to get around to any of them. I have just chasing too many dreams, too many rabbits. But I was going to take and put a long flat walkway that's got a little bit of a curve to the sides, on both sides, so that I could pump water up into it and have it be like a water slide. So I go from the top here all the way down until it dumps into the water, and then the kids would float back up, and then we get off into the little dock, climb up the stairs, and then slide down that thing again. And when they turn the water off in the fall, water still stays in the bottom of that, and ices up over the winter. And I was thinking of wetting down the little walkway slide portion with water and ice, and then they would go right down and slide onto the ice. and then they could walk up there, climb up the stairs, and slide down. We'd have our own little water slide and or ice slide. This strip right here, I was going to actually plant trees all along it. I just never got to it. And you know, they say the best day to plant a tree is 10 years ago. The next best day is today. And that today just never happened because so many things to do, so many dragons to slay, and planting the trees just never got there. And I'm kind of frustrated with myself about that. But a lot of missed opportunities, but not for you guys, because I didn't have the means of doing it by myself. I didn't have the financial means of hiring it out. But if you are good at planting trees, or if you are good at, if you have the means, the financial means to hire it out, you could have all this stuff so fast. But I was going to plant a tree, and then a tree, and then a tree, all around. You could have 20, 30. You'd have a whole orchard, but it wouldn't take up much space because it'd all be around the perimeter. And then in between, you can have blocks where you could put raspberries and strawberries and blackberries and whatever. You could just plant a whole bunch. And if we wanted to fence it off so that nobody fell down there or whatever, you could do a nice decorative fence with privacy, or you could put security cameras, whatever. But there's just tons of possibilities. But anyhow, you could store up to 14 motorhomes or trailers or boats along here, or you could build that secondary dwelling and then subdivide it, and it would be the primary dwelling, and they would have the shop here. Ah, the shop. No, I'm not going to show you inside. It's a disaster. It is chock full. But when I saw the pictures, when I was looking at this house, it didn't look that great. And I thought, oh, those are the little 7-foot doors from the 70s. You know, I wouldn't be able to pull my full drive van in there with a rack on the top, which was temporarily not on it. When I saw these doors in person and I walked up to them and I put my hands up and it was a foot above my fingertips, and I'm 6'3", then I was like, I'm in man cave heaven. I hurried and called my wife and said, honey, you got to come down here. You got to see it. I'm going to get the kids and I'm going to bring them down here. I'll meet you right after work. And good news, it comes with a house. So, so anyhow, the ultimate man cave. The former owners built this, and then they built that, added on, so that's a shop, and they had a motorhome and a boat in there, and it's not quite as deep, but it's still pretty good size. You can park anywhere from 8 to 12 cars in there if you're a car guy. In the back right quadrant of the main bay is kind of a stencil work on the ground to kind of look like fancy stone or tile work kind of a thing. This is what I call Man Cave Central right here. They tiled it off, some nice tiles, wood burning pellet stove right here in the corner, and I'm going to actually find an old garage or an old kitchen that somebody's thrown out. I'm going to put a complete kitchen right in there. And he had a bar in there. They took that out, and I actually have my dad's kitchen in here. When we redid his kitchen, I took all the old kitchen components, cabinets rather. So anyhow, I was going to put his kitchen in that back right corner, so you could do all your canning, and you know, if you or pressure can your rabbit or chickens, you can pressure can your vegetables, and or if you went hunting and got a deer or an elk, you could process that in there rather than make the house kind of dirty inside. But they have water in there. And then when they built the shop, they put a bathroom in the back left corner, so you don't have to go all the way into the house. I was going to put in a big wash tub next to in the bathroom, and also a shower next to that. I've got the wash tubs, but I don't have a shower, but a shower kit right next to that would be good. And I even have an emergency eye wash station that allows you to wash out your eyes and your face if you're working on a car and say a battery like that one explodes on you. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, you better have the means to take care of yourself and rinse it out. There's even a couple lounge chairs in there, and I have a pool table that's in there, and it's chock full of stuff on top. It's just a disaster. You know, lots of preps, super disorganized. Everyone's stuff is in there, not just mine. It's like if you buy it, they will fill it. But anyhow, it's a fantastic shop. It's the ultimate man cave. My goal was to actually clear out the insides, put some black pipe and drape around all my shelves where all my other supplies and everything are, and extra parts for whatever. And in doing so, I put a little platform in the back and then have the man cave central on the right. But anyhow, you can see how much space there is for parking. I mean, we've had lots of parties here, and there's plenty of parking. Another really nice feature is this thing has 2 RV hookups and dumps. We're hooked up there, and it was hooked up over here. And there's another dump, hookup right there on the ground, and there's a hydrant there, and we can run water, not water, power. We actually ran it up into the trees over the lawn and down here, and then dropped it down and hooked it into a trailer. So then we moved it over here to give more parking. There's a cement pad over here that the former owner, who had a concrete business, he parked his cement trucks here. And he had a tank on that cement pad over there for water, not water, but for fuel. Now this whole pad here, if the trailer isn't here, we've put a full basketball court on here. You see we got the permanent standard here, and then we have a portable one we move over here. And I even have a stencil that allows you to paint the key. So you can put the stencil down and then put all the lines for the key and the file line and everything. And you could put it there, and then you could paint the other one over here, and eventually you could put the lines out on the side however you want, but that shouldn't be too hard to do, and you can have a full basketball court for your kids and their friends. I'll just show you over here. See all that white planking over there? It's vinyl, from a vinyl fence. I'm big into what they call repurposing, you know, the 5 W's, or 5 R's rather. It's reduce, reuse, recycle, repurpose, repair. And this is the wood. I got like 3.5 stacks, and I have other wood that was given to me from a neighbor. But I thought, well, I'll just cut it into this. But then my log splitter died. But you can get a cheap one, electric one from Harbor Freight, and you could put all that in here and have all this emergency fuel for a wood burning stove. And I'll show you inside where I was going to put a wood burning stove in the basement, and then it would heat up the whole basement, and then the heat would rise and warm up the house. Over here there's some alcohol, barrels of alcohol fuel, and it would be about a year's supply of cooking. You don't want to heat so much the air, you just want to have enough fuel for cooking. That's safe to use indoors. This is a dog run back here, and we turned it into a chicken run, and we have a little chicken roost inside this tent shed, and place for them to roost out here. But you could probably cover it up for very inexpensively. You can cover it up with some chicken wire. Flagpole, 2 places. Got a glory up there and a little party time flag. The yard, we live in the Intermountain West, and it's very dry and arid here. We're among the several driest states in the whole nation. All the houses in our town have secondary water brought to the curb, but it never got down to our house. So I only had culinary water at the time, and I could not justify spending $300 a month in August using drinking water to keep weeds green in one of the driest states in the nation during their drought. And so I decided to stop watering and let it go. And we also had some pocket gophers, but we got some cats and they got rid of it. They were leaving little mounds of dirt all over, kind of ruining my yard anyway. So I thought, well, let's get rid of those first, and let's get secondary water. And I still don't have the secondary water yet, but I will. This is a pine tree. I was hoping with these 3 trees, getting that treehouse master to come over and build this little treehouse for the kids. But my baby is now 20 years old and 6'7", doesn't need a playhouse. So anyhow, what we're going to try to do is get the secondary water hooked up, and it's only $45 a month, and there's no meter. Now, I'm not suggesting you be irresponsible and drain the entire lake just so you can have as much water as you want for the greenest yard. They say water to survive, not to thrive during the drought. But anyhow, the beauty of this is when you do your gardening, and I suggest you do square foot gardening, those white 2x6 planks, I was going to make some really beautiful garden grow boxes in here and have the ultimate little square foot garden. The beauty of square foot gardening is I think it's the best survival garden that you can have, because it takes 80% less space, less time, less waste, less money, everything. It's super great. And plus, the way you water it is the way that you can keep it going, even if there is an emergency water shortage. You can, if you had to, you can get a cart with barrels and go down to Well, the canal, for one. You're right next to the canal. You can bring out buckets and let them clarify and warm up in the sun, and then water your plants without shocking them. And I was going to take that swing set out and have this whole concrete area be one fantastic little garden area. Over here, I just have stored extra lumber and extra pallets, and it's all weather worn, so I'm going to sell it to somebody that's going to do some crafts that has the naturally weather worn barn wood for their projects. But you see this pile I'm standing on? This is all potting soil. What I've done over a few years is I try to repurpose, reduce, reuse, recycle, repurpose, repair, all those kinds of things. And that includes all the plants that they are throwing out at a week after Memorial Day. And I go over and say, hey, I'll volunteer to help for free if you dump some of those in my trailer instead of in the dumpster to go to the dump. And they're liking it because it's, you know, it's reduce, reuse, recycle, repair, repurpose, all that stuff. So I can repurpose this to put in garden grow boxes. Or I've got a million of these that I'll leave behind. All the potting plants you want to plant your own garden. And that's just the outside garden. I haven't even shown you the 3 inside gardens. So there's lots of stuff here. There's 3 composts, there's 2 rolling barrel ones, and then there's this one. You fill it up and you can turn it, exchange it, all that kind of stuff. All these planks right here are 2x6s from my old deck that I was going to turn into grow boxes. So there's enough lumber here to make a ton of grow boxes. I even have a whole bunch of these white ones that I was going to put on the top layer or whatever of some, so that I could have the really nice white looking ones that look really nice. So I was going to repurpose a lot of this from somebody's fence that we took out for them. They had a bad back and we did a service project and helped them. And of course, tons and tons of pots. And with that, along with the greenhouse over there, you can start all kinds of stuff, because you'll have tons of potting soil to be able to start your own plants. A couple piles of compost. There's another one over here under the logs. There's a whole pile of compost. So there's tons of organic matter, which is so important for out west because we don't have a ton of compost. But you can have the most fantastic garden with all these grow boxes. This whole thing is full of compost and is ready to load into the garden as well. If you want, I'll even leave the trailer. This whole area right in here is basically a stable or a rabbitry. I have a whole bunch of cages that I was going to put in here, and I was going to stack them 2 or 3 deep so I could raise a ton of rabbits. Right now I have just one hutch that needs the bottom replaced, and I have 1 rabbit. I'll find a home for her unless you want it. This property, I kid you not, it's zoned for 6 horses. And this whole area right here, from this rock wall over behind the gazebo over to that brick wall, could be a giant pasture for horses. And with the secondary water, you could keep all the weeds growing and they could just eat the weeds. Or you could just have them mow your entire yard by eating. You can see the neighbors that are horse people too. They just built a new shed over there, a garage, and they have one over there. He's big into arm wrestling, and his wife's big into horses, and good folks. But anyhow, yeah, we'll burn all this down and get it contained in a nice, neat area. There's a nice fire pit down here. We've had lots of bonfires. We've burned down all the branches except for some that just barely happened recently. The fire pit is really nice, and we're going to put these logs around so they have places to sit down around the fire pit. This is all concrete from here all the way over. Nice bright floodlights that flood this whole area. Nice big yard. Some trees over there. You can hang some hammocks on them. Just a wonderful option, wonderful opportunities for things. Speaking of awesome possibilities, the former owner had a chipping range on this west side of the property where he could chip from anywhere in the yard, and he had a putting green complete with a sand trap on the north end of that west side. He also had a horseshoe pit right off of the garden just east of the raised concrete wall. The only problem is it was so close to the garden and or the fire pit that I didn't want somebody accidentally tripping and falling down and impaling themselves on a horseshoe peg. My goal was to put a regulation horseshoe pit on the very north end of the property next to where that putting green was or still can be. Update on the gazebo. I have a top for it. I just have to find it in the garage. We're cleaning it out. We're in the process of redoing the interior surface and getting a countertop. So you can see it'll be a nice paneling on the inside. And also where the water comes down, this is energized, as you can see. And we have the canning jars, the old mason jars, as a light thing. I really like that because I like that country feel, kind of like that Joanna Gaines farmhouse look. The water, we're going to be replacing the hose, and it will come down here, and you can have a sink installed here if you want something that will go with the country theme. You can go as big or as small a sink as you want, but it'll be a nicely fixed up gazebo when it's done. Over here I was thinking of doing hopscotch and other things. We have a pole for a tetherball, so that's available. Over here I was going to put a component playground system and fill up this whole area right here with a component playground, and that way moms and grandmas can sit inside the air-conditioned sun porch and watch the kids run out here, kiss the boo-boo, go back in, let the kids continue to play. And that way, the best of both worlds, the kids can play, moms can stay cool, but they also have the swing. We'll leave that here. Water there. You know what? I'm going to go over and I'm going to show you the pool room. This is really nice, and if you want to get the license, you can rent it out. And just make sure that any people coming don't come during the afternoon time. One of the neighbors lets to train her dog across the common driveway and down into the canal. And that's something you can do as well. You can train your bird dogs with water right there. We actually have let people train their dogs in here. When we rented it out, we've rented out to families, birthday parties. I'll be leaving these two. It's a gigantic swan, because I used to like ducks. I have tons of ducks. I know I'm 30 years behind the times, but I like the white duck with the blue and pink ribbon. It can be a swan or a goose, as long as it's white and has a blue or pink ribbon on it. But there's also a little cooler here for parties if you want. And it's not a super deep pool, so it's really great for families and for training. We let people use their kayak training in here. And it's where the shallow end is. The wife was trying to practice her rolls, and the husband was there to stabilize her and turn her over real quick until she got that technique down really well. Down here, I'm 6'3", and it's about up to my neck, my chin, in this deeper area. These little alcoves, these little love seats are kind of nice, but you can step on that little lip there and then that seat and then go right into the bathroom. When I first was here, that bathroom door is not there. So people would have to go out into the cold breeze and then go into a man door, into the dirty laundry room, and then traipse into the bathroom, which was 6 inches through the wall. So I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna cut a door in there, and I have. And or if you want, go to town and just blow it out and do it however you want. It's a fantastic house with tons of space. It's like my old house plus the basement, plus a shop that's twice as big as my old house. Plus, it has 12,000 gallons of emergency water storage inside. With tons of toys, little life jackets, everything. During the COVID thing, when everything was shut down, all the pools were shut down, and people wanted to come here. And my brother-in-law, he makes enough on his pool to put a new roof on his house. So we went over and we helped him roof his new place. But that's a door to the front porch, and it's shaded all the time, and it has a couple park benches out there, and has nice arches. Oh, we'll just poke our heads out just so you can see. But now that this is considered indoor living space, because we cut a door in here, and the beauty is that now it has, a few years ago, we upgraded their insulation on the house when we got one of those rebate things, and then, anyhow, I don't know, can you see that? There's a porch out there with the benches, and it has these nice arches. What I was thinking of doing is actually putting arches here and then over there, and then having the big patio doors that slide open, or doors that you can open up so you can have that indoor-outdoor feel for a pool party, but then shut it down and you've got it for the wintertime. We have not one but two pool blankets. I got a big enough piece that I got a deal on one, and so we use this one, and when that one's no longer good, you still have a spare. Plus, I have tons of pool chemicals. We stocked up when we had the chance, and there's a chlorine shortage, but not for you, because I have probably 6 months of backup pool chemical supplies. And it's just a nice pool. One thing more I want to point out is that we got also some exercise belts and dumbbells. So when you want to do aquasizing, if you wanted to have your friends come over to an aquasize class, you could don some of these belts in the deeper area. That way you could be working your legs and your arms, and you could even do those dumbbells down and get a good arm workout as well. There's even some gloves that are webbed to give more of the reaction to work the arm muscles a little bit better. And you know I love ducks. I got a whole bunch of ducks. And I think I mentioned this to go along with this swan. They actually have a full-size yellow duck as well as the white swan. That will go. But we have tons of toys, as I mentioned. We got tons of inflatables, little water wings and little float suits. I'm trying to get away from these now that I've learned that it's better to teach kids how to properly swim and properly float rather than have, wearing one of these things, because this teaches them to go right up, straight up, down, vertical. And then when they get in water, they're going to have a muscle memory of going vertical, and that's not going to allow them to float. They're going to sink and drown. So we'll put a link here to the really good training. I'll just show you the bathroom. The laundry room's a disaster. We were moving some stuff around to take pictures, and it kind of ended up being the room. I have a blue sink that I was going to put in here because everything is kind of like country blue, and I love ducks. As you can see, I got tons of duck stuff, and I even have a bunch of duck pictures, wallpaper border to go with it, kind of the old country feel. I kind of wanted to do the house and kind of one of those farmhouse, and there's some more ducks and pictures. So I'll leave those for anyone if they would like that. But my long-term goal was to actually remove this. And as you can see, the wall goes way further back than it does in here. There is a little shelf in the dining room that's where you can put china and other stuff. But I was thinking of taking that down, smoothing out the wall straight across, and then going deep in here, and then putting a shower in here. So when people are going to go into the pool, they would step in the shower and get rinsed off real quick, so they didn't have all that body sweat and stuff like that. And then if you had a kid that was kind of cold for some reason, little blue lip syndrome, they can come in here, put them in the hot shower and warm them up. But I was going to tile all this to a drain in the floor. But anyhow, big on family. This is a quiet toilet seat that has the extra little mini one for all the grandkids. So all the 3 toilets in the main house, there's a 4th one in our master bath that does not have the little kid seats in here, but all of them do in here. I even have one for the bathroom in the shop. My goal is to have that man cave central kitchen area in there with some chairs and some lounge chairs. Have a TV in there. Do some cooking segments in there for my show, and have people teach us how to cook rabbit, and how to cook chicken, and how to process game. We could do it all out there with some cameras and stuff, but alas, no. That bathroom in there, that was the goal, is that when my kids would come over, if they needed to work on their car, bring it over, put it up on the lift, then we would fix the car in the shop portion, and then the kids and moms could be in the kitchen, kind of doing their own thing. I even have a drinking fountain that will go in there, and a Coke machine that I just need a refrigerant guy. I got his number, and he was going to fix it for me and charge it up so that the Coke machine worked, and I was going to stock it with stevia sweetened stuff, so it doesn't have a lot of sugar in it, and some lemonade and root beer and some Sprite, the more tame stuff for the little ones. So there's another entrance into the laundry room. So if you're in the kitchen, one of the things my wife wanted was to be able to be at the kitchen sink and look out the window, so she can do that. There's a kitchen faucet right there, and she can look out and see the kids playing, and she can just go around the corner out this man door and attend to the little ones if she needed to. All right, let's talk about greenhouses. Not one, not two, but three, because those patio doors and that thermally regulated pool, because that pool is never going to freeze, and that mass of water will keep the temperature above freezing inside that. And you have those two big patio doors there that you could put all kinds of shelves of stuff to grow. You could grow a whole bunch of greens in there knowing that they're not going to freeze. And you could even grow some greens around the other windows on the north side that are just leafy greens that don't need to produce anything. You're going to eat the leaves. Various types of lettuces and kales and spinaches and stuff like that, which would make great for a year-round salads and stuff like that. And then this greenhouse right here, it used to be a hot tub enclosure, and the hot tub stopped working, so they cut it out. But the cool thing about this is this can be a greenhouse, and you can grow stuff year-round. You can bring in some of those water barrels that you can find different places, and you can paint them black, and they can heat up during the day, and they will thermally regulate in here and keep it from freezing. But there's also a technique where if you dig down and you put in a bunch of coils of air duct tubing down there and have a tiny little 12-volt fan that will circulate the air for you, it will take the warm air during the winter and blow it in here and keep it from freezing, and the cool air in the summer and blow it in here and keep it from scorching. But you can open all these windows. I think most of these are screens that you just get some new screen material and some of that new cordage. There's videos on YouTube show you how to do it. But anyhow, there's a nice greenhouse. There is a nice little potting station right there that I picked up along the way. And so you can do all your planting and everything. And it's right off the master bedroom. And so I was thinking that it would be perfect for grandma, that, you bring your mother into, to stay in your place, and there's a lot of cool stuff you could do there. I'll show you that when we get there. But here's a separate entrance to the basement apartment, or it could be a basement apartment, but there's a separate entrance if you wanted to do that. And it's out of the weather, so it doesn't ever get flooded. And so you don't have to worry about that. So that's your main greenhouse. And I was going to plant some citrus trees in there, maybe some figs, pygmy banana trees, and you can roll them out in the summer if you needed to, or just leave them in there, but then you would have citrus. I didn't want to do oranges, but I wanted to do lemons and limes, and that way you would have lemons and limes to garnish various meals year round. Because one lemon can go quite a ways, whereas one orange, it's a snack, and they'll be gobbled up too quick. This is the sun porch. There's a couple places for people to come down and visit. I was thinking of actually putting in a whole exercise thing over here at one point, but also I was thinking of blowing out the kitchen and opening the section up and then having the dinette down here instead of over here. And you could have more of those tables or chairs over here by this door so you can get up and go out a little bit quicker. But then you would have the kitchen area right there. But anyhow, that with shelves all the way around, that gets full sun all the time in the afternoon. And in the wintertime, when the sun's a lot lower, you'll see sun coming in here, so you'll be able to grow year-round and have all the greens that you can imagine. So you'll have a fresh garden all the time, year-round. And then you can grow the big crops out there that you can and store up in the storage room, which I'll show you. This is the great room, and it's right off the kitchen. The fireplace works. Haven't used it much. My son loves that rock wall. It's kind of classic. Or you can modernize it and freshen it up. The hearth, little piece down there has been broken since before we moved in. We just never got around to replacing it. But yeah, you could do that whole thing the way you want. Now the kitchen is nice because it matched my decor of light blue and or pink, like for the ribbons of the ducks. I like Korean. I guess it's not in vogue anymore, and it's getting old. So all of these appliances are a little long in the tooth, and I accidentally cracked that, so it needs to be updated. But I like this, and I wanted to put one of those big, huge farm sinks, faucets in here. But we upgraded all the switches to a GFCI so that there's not a chance of shocking. All the appliances are working still, stainless, but they're long in the tooth as well. I was going to open that up so you could walk down, have the counter come all the way out here with cabinets, and then have a big island right here in the middle that had 3 or 4 seats on each side, probably 3 seats, so you'd have 9 built-in stools. One lady that I took a class from, she had one of those in her kitchen, and it's for this fantastic bread making class that we attended, and it was just amazing. But she had this island so you can get all the way around it with plenty of room, and she would teach a class on how to make bread, and we would all take some of the dough and make some of the various things out of this dough recipe that was fantastic. From the grinder to out of the oven, 1 hour, and I could have 4 loaves of bread, or I could have any number of up to 50 different types of bread things, anything from artisan loaves to dessert loaves to buns to all kinds of rolls, and it's extremely versatile. Anyhow, if you're interested in that, I'll probably be having her teach a class or put you in contact with her system, because I think it's a fantastic option for making bread. Anyhow, yeah, that's the kitchen, the diner, the laundry room. It has cabinets all on the right side and everything. Kind of the pantry shelves in here, but you're probably going to put newer, nicer cabinets with the slide out shelves, which would be great. This is the dining room. Got a place for the little grandkids. Oh, by the way, what did Jesus say at the Last Supper? You don't know? He said, all right, everyone who wants to get in the picture, get on this side of the table. Funny joke. All right, so this is the shelf that I was going to get rid of and just flatten that wall all the way out, and then just use a china hutch kind of like this that I got from my mom. And but anyhow, I like formal dining rooms. I was actually going to put some different types of wallpaper border around the edges, and I even have some of that old-fashioned blue wallpaper that would go along the bottom. And put a little border trim around here. But yeah, I know, I'm dated. But I just really like those ducks. I just really like what they represent. They just represent really good, wholesome, hearty people that have that farm, self-reliant mentality. And they could take care of business. They could grow their own food. They could take care of themselves if there's a problem or emergency, whatever. Yeah, got that for $5 at a thrift store, and it's brand new. Here's the front porch, but it's actually not the front porch, because when they built the shop in the back, they got rid of the front driveway portion that goes into the garage. They just tore it all out. That's all dirt now over there, and so you can park something over there out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. But a nice little porch in the shade. And we used to have these little pocket gophers leaving these little mounds all over. We haven't for years because we got some cats, and they have done a fantastic job. They keep any mice or pocket gophers or voles or moles, whatever they are. Never saw them because they would just leave a mound and disappear. So, but we were able to get rid of all of them. But you could park cars in here. So nice shade. And we'd play frisbee out here. All kinds of fun stuff. There's lots of light coming in through here. And they've retrofitted these to the really nice big window wells, so you can easily escape out of the basement. Anyhow, so this has become more of the backyard. Coat closet, it's not the hugest, but it's enough for 2 coats for everyone in the family and like winter stuff. Go down this long hall. This is a game closet. We need to fix the door, but it's very deep. There's my office. It's a mess. You've probably seen this before, but there's my stuff, or my workstation where I do a lot of my videos and my ramblings. Okay, this one I don't even want to show you, but it's so bad. It's the storage room, but it's a pretty good size room. It's the nursery. And there's that red bed over there, and they had the multicolor, the primary color things. And this is right now just a storage room. I have wallpaper. I have the border that has all the balloons and all the primary colors. But this was going to be a nursery place for all the kids to come and play and sleep over at Grandpa and Grandma's. This is a big bathroom in here. Yes, it needs freshening up. It's got the quiet toilet seat, so it closes very quietly. And this is for men. Yeah. Gotta aim, people. And then there's a place for 6 kids, and I color coded my kids, and that's a whole nother segment, but I even have a place out here so they can have everyone's towels here and everyone's things, but a lot of them have moved off and it's kind of not that theme anymore. But here's a large and deep, very deep. So my arm is going in, finally touching. So it goes into my armpit deep. So I have lots of blankets and it needs to be cleaned out and organized. But here's another one that's similar to it. I call it the medicine closet. We have all the health related extra shampoos, medicines, medical gear, EMT kit stuff, health stuff, you know, the foot bath, the vaporizers, that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you the bedroom first. All right, it's a big bedroom. It gets quite deep. I got this to surprise my wife, think it'd be a nice upgrade, but it turns out that it actually makes the room seem smaller than it really is, just because it sticks out further and wider and taller. And part of me wishes I had the old bed in here, but it's kind of nice and fancy. But I was thinking that this room right here could be a little mini studio apartment for you know, your aging mom or dad, or somebody that has special needs that you need to take care of. But and if grandma likes to garden, then down she goes into the greenhouse without even having to go outside. And it could, if you have that little setup like I was telling you, this could be the air conditioning for this portion, because that air coming out of that ground is nice and cool. And you could have that pumped in here during the summer, and in the winter it would be warm air coming in here. You wouldn't have to heat up so much. So anyhow, that's an option for this room. And then there's another closet that's pretty deep, lots of shelves, and then the bathroom. And what I was thinking of doing is up to that door, putting a whole kitchen in with all the cabinets that you could store all kinds of stuff, and you can have a little burner plate, but you'd also have the sink to wash your hands after the restroom. And it has a private water closet, so you can go in here. But the nice thing is you have this huge shower, and we upgraded it a little bit with a second shower head, so it's a nice massaging one. But the beautiful thing is very easy to get in, and I even have one of those chairs that can fit in a shower, so if they need to sit down and shower. I even used this to shower in a situation in which we lost our water heater, and so we had no water for a while until we got a brand new one put in, and it took us a while to do that. In the meantime, we needed showers, so I thought this is a good time to practice using our portable sun showers, the ones you just leave out in the sun and they warm up. I actually have another segment here and shows how that can get pretty darn hot, and you can do up to 3 people with one of those 5-gallon solar showers. And I was going to install a stainless steel hookup here, so you could hook the shower up there and still shower as normal. Yeah, I've been around. Lots of shelves down there for sweaters. We have our patriotic stuff for holidays. And my cowboy hats. And a lot of stuff I got to get rid of, clean out. So this whole door right here, this could be a private suite for an aging grandparent. But anyhow, yeah, we're going to go down in the basement now. So I was going to put a nice big deer or elk head here if I ever got one, but I lent my hunting rifle to a friend, and then he disappeared on me, and I didn't have the money to buy another one. So a little bit bummed out about that. Here's the down landing. Dogs chewed up the carpet, need a new carpet anyway. Here's 3 bedrooms down here. There's my son Jake. You've seen him in other segments, so say hi, Jake. All right. Say goodnight, Gracie. And here's the downstairs bathroom. I have another organizer that has 4 dispensers, so that you could have body soap or a girl's shampoo, a guy's shampoo, whatever, conditioner. And that way you don't have to have all these bottles around. But there's still place for some. Sink, toilet, and it also has on the quiet lid, and it has the little kid lid. The kid seats, so the little babies don't fall down in there. And here's was my daughter's room at one point. And anyhow, there's a place for carpet, and you can put a nice sliding curtain in here. But and here's another bedroom that a couple of my sons used over the years, different sons, and it's very big. These bedrooms are really big, much bigger than the modern new one. There's a drain here in the floor, and there's a place to hang stuff. I got some tactical gear and uniforms, And there's some shelves and stuff like that in here. That door can stay closed, but this was just a storage room, and I got these shelves because I was trying to find a deal and I couldn't afford fancy brand new stuff. Here's a roof can rack. It holds up to 27 cases of cans. But here's the best part. Oh, my old house didn't even have a basement, let alone a crawl space. I mean, that's all it had, was a crawl space, rather. It didn't have a basement, and no place to store. But this is awesome. This is a cold storage. It's under the porch, and it can double as a bit of a fallout shelter. A little bit better protection here than you would in some of the other parts of the house. But anyhow, I got lots of charcoal in here for long-term storage for Dutch ovens. And the back end has some dirt in the bottom, and I didn't know why, but I guess that's a technique for storing potatoes and stuff. I've never had a root cellar. Anyhow, a lot of cool stuff. Awesome storage space. Utility room. I need to talk to these guys and see if they can have somebody come out and take a look at it and see if we can get working, but it does have a water softener. Just not using it. I don't really like the slimy feel, but apparently it's really good. It's 2 furnaces, basement, upstairs. The upstairs is also the central air. And then I have a water heater. They had a secondary one, but it went out on us. So I put a 50-gallon here, and then we put expansion. We upgraded to have an expansion tank because the code suggests that. And I also put this in place. It can handle the water from, if this were to fail, it wouldn't leak all over the floor. If you want to upgrade your furnaces and put a single unit in to handle the whole house, that means you could get another, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 feet of this wall and move it over, and you'd have a lot more space in the family room, which is already a pretty good size. I left this in place for 2 reasons. One, if you want to put a secondary one in, it wouldn't be hard to tap into that one and go from the first one, and then that ties over. I upgraded the nice braided line to go so that you have, it's just better. Braided line's better. But if you wanted to put a secondary one in here, maybe some people actually do a solar one. My first house 30 years ago, it had a solar water heater, and you could just hear it going all day long. So it was plenty hot during the day. We're going to go in the family room. Here's an old entertainment center. We'll be leaving this if you want it. If you have your own standalone power system, which a lot of houses are doing these days, and we have the best south-facing roof real estate up there, just tons of places to put your solar panels, and then a battery system for your home. That way, if the power goes out, you can still play tons of these DVDs that are available to you if you would want them. Here's a fire pit or fireplace for downstairs. What I was going to do is I was going to put a wood burning stove down here, and that way we could heat the basement, and then the heat would rise and warm the house. Even though you don't need to heat the house if you know how to do warm clothing correctly. We have the best warm clothing system out there. I can introduce you to it, and if you have a set of those, then you can live in your existing home with absolutely no additional heat, but with all your existing coats and clothes and blankets and stuff like that, and you'll be comfortable in your own home. And that way, your fuel requirements are drastically reduced to the point where you only need enough for cooking. Here's a door going out to the upstairs. This is your entrance into what could be the basement apartment. Here's an old rear screen projector TV. We can get rid of this, but what's cool is that they have the Fresnel lens. You can take that and put it in the sun, and you can create enough heat from that Fresnel lens to start a 2x4 on fire in a couple seconds. It's a gigantic magnifying glass, really, if you wanted to take that out and say that. Well, yeah, we have the couches, and they're available to have those as you want. Originally, this had a projector and the screen, and you can pull that down and watch movies projected onto this. There was an old projector base. It's right here, and it was mounted right up here in the ceiling, and we can leave that if you want, and you can put your own newer projector. We have all of these there's couches and a love sack, and plenty of places for people to sit and lay down and on the floor or whatever and chill. You can route some Ethernet cables right here over to this corner. There's a coax as well, and there's an Ethernet. You can come over to this corner, so you can set up however you want. Here's the wet bar. And there's also an additional light right here. There's a little mini fridge, microwave, drawers. If you want the wet bar and you want to lock it up, you can lock those up so that you don't want little kids getting access to certain things. You can do that. And chairs. We have these if you want to reupholster them. We have some outside that the cat's kind of gone onto, but you could reupholster them and have them all matching, or you can get brand new stools, however you want. This is a little corner where I had some exercise equipment. And like I said, we had a couple of TVs that kids could play different video game consoles. And we had some games. There's this foosball, and then there's a little mini ping pong and some other stuff underneath. Here's an air hockey table that was kind of fun, more exercise equipment. But this right here, as you can see, is a studio. And what we did here is, my goal was to make this into a dance studio. So I would go to the thrift stores and look patiently for mirrors that are old sliding closet mirrors. And I was going to have them mounted on the wall. And then this floor in here, you could have as a dance studio. And then if you wanted to have it to be a martial arts studio, I actually have some martial arts equipment, some gloves and some foam hats and stuff like that. There's a boxing bag for practicing self-defense strikes on. And I was going to put out some of those folding mats that you could put on the floor, and then you'd have a martial arts dojo studio here. So it could be a dance studio or a martial arts studio. Get some stuff temporarily stored here while we're packing up things and trying to figure out what we're doing with it. Have a cat tower here where the cats can hang in different stations. We also got not one, but two disco balls for it. There's a giant black light. There's a little police beacon light and a traffic light. And we were going to actually get a smoke machine that would come in here and make it into a fun little mini discotheque for my sons. Unfortunately, I didn't get it done in time for them to have fun in high school and college, but they're all kind of moving on. And but I think that's still a cool dream. If you have younger kids, it could still be fun. Or you can turn it into whatever you want. But anyhow, and I was thinking of putting right here underneath this portion, having a pool table underneath here. And then in the cold storage, there are some green lights that come down, and they have the triangular shaped green lamps or shades. There's 3 green shades that it could then go over the pool table and light it up. The former owners had a pool table in here, and they took it with them. But I have a kind of a beat up version that I got from an old neighbor, and it's in the garage, and it's kind of the one you don't worry about ruining, but it's still fun to use. Now in the in the utility room, it's just on the other side of this, where this outcropping is. I was been told that if you want to upgrade to a single unit to do the entire house, that then the furnace could be on the left side, and where all the space was for the furnace on the right side, you could move this wall over and expand this and widen up the whole basement, family room, game room, wherever. But also you could turn this into, like I said, a basement apartment. And this could be their kitchen. You could bring a bigger fridge down here, have some induction cooktops here, and other accoutrements for kitchen use. And this could be a basement apartment. That would be the separate entrance. And what I wanted to do is, right here, cut a door in, and there would be a hall. But then I wanted to put a door right here, put a wall right here. So this would be closed off, and that door would go into that bedroom. This would be an entrance into here, and we'd put a wall from here over to here, and we'd have a whole bunch of cabinets or closet space or storage space, cabinets and shelves, so that this apartment would have lots of storage here. They would have the downstairs bathroom, and they would have this bedroom as well. So they'd have that big bedroom, and they would have this bedroom here, good size. So if it's a young couple and they had a kid or two, they could have a kid or two in here. Their mom and dad could be there, storage and everything. And that way people coming down the stairs would still be able to access that if they needed to enter that apartment for some reason. And they still have one guest bedroom up downstairs, and then access to the storage room and to the cold storage. So this could very easily, in very short order, be turned into a basement apartment that I've heard you could easily get easily get $1,000 for or more, because rent is insane around here. And you could use that and just apply that plus rentals of the pool, or let people park their RVs there and just throw you some bucks. That would be a means of offsetting the cost of the house. And you can even rent out the shop space for people that want to come over and use your lift. So you'd have the ability to offset an awful lot of the house cost. Plus the fact that you can subdivide it up to 3 different times. This is where I was going to open up, just have the sink over here and along there, and then have a huge island right here. Maybe in another sink in the island. So that is that. All right, so that is our wonderful place, and it is so awesome. And just so much potential. Like I said, another apartment / extension to the house up above, so you can have one of your kids live there. I was thinking of putting a second story on the garage and shape it like a barn, and then put that really cool barn looking like doors that would still roll up with the automatic, but they would look like the old-fashioned barn doors. And I just really like that look. It's just a great place. It's tucked away. You'll hear chickens, roosters, crowing every once in a while. I think you can have up to like 60 small animals like chickens or rabbits, and then, or it's rated up to 6 horses. But there's a lot of potential here. It's a fantastic property, and I've loved every minute of it. The shop is the ultimate man cave. Just never can get to all the dreams. I did not have the body and the ability to do it by myself. A lot of people are busy, could not help, and I didn't have the means to hire it out. I'm hoping that somebody that is preparedness minded will be able to come and enjoy this fantastic home with all of its possibilities. So hopefully, if you're the right one for this wonderful house with the most spectacular potential ever, contact us, lifetothemaxshow@gmail.com. So give us a call or drop us a line, whatever it is. Send us an email. Send up smoke signals, carrier pigeons. We don't have that set up yet. Anyhow, I don't know usually how to wrap these things up, so I'll just say love you guys. Till next time, Max out.